Hey guys, welcome back to another project. Today we're going to do something completely different. Yeah, we're going to work out of our comfort zone again with this next project. You know how when you're watching YouTube, you sit down at your computer, you decide to watch YouTube, and you start out watching, I don't know, a video about, it could be anything, but video A. 3 hours later, you're watching a video of a inchworm having sex with a french fry, and you have no clue how you got there. It just happened, and you don't know how. Well, this is kind of how we got to this next project. I was watching videos on model building, as I usually do, and next thing you know, I stumbled across videos on restoring Hot Wheel cars and Matchbox cars, and I thought it was really, really cool. But I said to myself, it's not something I want to get into, because knowing my OCD and everything, my obsessive compulsiveness, I would just go hog wild. The next year I'd have Hot Wheel cars everywhere. I'd have all the things needing to do them, and it would just be a nightmare, and I just can't take on another hobby. But I was fascinated by these videos, and there's a lot of cool videos out there, people that do these things, from restorations of cars that look like an archaeological dig site find, like from 50, 60 years ago, and they restore them till pristine. And then you got other people who take current cars and they customize them to make them look really cool. It's really fascinating to me, and I kept watching them but saying, no, I'm not going to do it. Then the other day, I'm in my basement, and I happened to stumble across a whole boatload of Matchbox cars from my kids from years ago. And lo and behold, I decided I want to try this. But none of the cars that I found did it for me. And then I went searching on eBay to see what kind of cars were out there, and I stumbled across these two. These two were being sold together as a pair. They're two Mustang Convertibles, and those that know me know that I am a Mustang fanatic. I've probably owned more Mustangs than any other car I've ever, as an adult. I just love them. And I decided, even though this car is not far gone, neither of these cars are far gone, if I was just to do a restoration of the car, like some people do, the before and after pictures would be really not much different than these are now. So you'd be like, what the hell was the purpose of that? But I decided, using the same techniques they use to restore these cars, I'm going to take this and I'm going to customize it, and I'm going to make this look like the car I had, my first car that I had when I was in high school. We're going to paint it up the way it was. We're going to add rust and all that other kind of stuff. So it's going to be a fun little challenge for me. It's very small scale. Even though most of my viewers are not into this kind of thing, they're into models, 124, 125th scale. I hope you'll find this interesting anyway, and follow along. Maybe even convince some of you guys to do it yourself. Alright? So hang tight, we're going to get into this. Okay, so this car is it's really in decent shape. I think this came out in the 80s, actually. This is a casting from the 80s. Actually, does it say it on it? Yeah, 1980. Can't even see it. 3. Okay, not that long ago. So it's not like one of the old classic red lines from the 60s or anything like that, but still. It's a favorite of mine. It doesn't matter if it has any value or not. It's just cool. So, as you notice, there's some chips on it. Not a big deal. The wheels are actually relatively straight. A little bit of oxidation on the bottom. And of course, you notice the biggest thing is the broken windshield. And the hood's flopping a little bit. Okay, it's got a little bit of I think one of the prongs on it where it wraps around a post is broken. But it's not the end of even trying to do it when I don't want to. I can't get it off, but every now and then it'll flip, but not a big deal. So we're going to rip this apart, and then we're going to strip it. Now, it's usually very few parts, but we're going to start by drilling this out, taking it apart, and going from there. We're going to start cleaning it up, okay, stripping the body, stuff like that. In this case, we're also going to be painting the interior, and we need to find a replacement windshield. Now, this was bought with this car over here, which has one, This one, the wheels are jammed up in here too. This is a nice car though, and I'm not sure I want to take it apart yet. But what I'm going to try to do is find a replacement windshield for it. There is a website online called the Redline Shop that sells a lot of replacement parts. They do not have windshields for this car, but they do have the windshield for the custom Pontiac. It's a convertible Pontiac. I can't imagine it's much different. I'm toying with the idea of getting it and seeing if it fits or not, but we'll see. But let's get cracking at breaking these suckers apart. Okay, one of the tools that we need to do this is something to hold the car. I see a lot of people just hold them in their hands and they drill out the rivet, and you could do that. Personally, I just don't want to take any chances. I don't want to, accidentally drill through my hand. It would ruin my day. So I went out to Hobby Lobby, where I got a whole bunch of stuff for this hobby for very, very cheap, and I picked up this little desk vise, very cheap too, but it had metal clamps. And I know you might say, well, metal against the metal, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, the metal casting of these cars is very frail. I mean, it scratches really easy. So what I did is I took some foam that I had and I just glued it to the jaws. This way I can put my car in here and squeeze it together, and it won't mar the paint. If it's a painted car, it won't damage the metal in any way, and it'll hold it securely so we can safely drill it apart. Okay, so we're just going to open this bad boy up, put her in there, squeeze it up nice and tight. We're good to go. And now let's get a drill. We're going to drill this out. Real quick before we get drilling, for those that are unaware of it, these Matchbox cars, again, they're riveted together. This rivet goes into a post on the inside that's attached to the body, and I'll show you that when we get apart. So the rivet actually goes inside and attaches. We got to be careful because we want to drill this straight and smaller than the original post on the inside, because when we're done we want to put this back together. And while we're not going to rivet it, they do sell replacement rivet sets. We are going to use a screw set. We're going to tap that hole and we're going to screw it together with a small screw. I'll show you that later on in the build, but I just wanted to let you know you want to be very careful when you're doing this. Okay. Okay, now that we got a pilot hole in here, we're going to change to a larger bit, and we're going to try to take out the head of that rivet. And once we take that out, the body should just pop right off. You don't have to go hog wild, you just want to get that head knocked off. Okay, and of course, always wear safety glasses when doing this. Okay, now we have the head drilled out. We're going to use a pick. We're going to pop in here and bam! Oh yeah! That sucker pops right out. Now, we can wiggle it free and we are done. Okay, take it apart. And as you can see here, here's the post I was talking about. So what we're going to do later is we're going to sand this down a little bit, and we're going to continue to drill this hole, and then we're going to take a tap set and tap this for the screw that'll put the car back together later, but we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so here we are. Yes, we're going to pop it apart. Look at that, it comes right out. Cool. All right. And then, of course, we notice the windshield's gone. And it's relatively clean for a car that's a convertible. The interior is really kind of clean. We'll just clean this up with some soap and water, and this will get painted because my interior on my car was black. All right. Okay, so we got both cars disassembled. Okay, and we're going to do some stripper on them. I don't even know what kind of stripper to get, so I got this paint varnish stripper, easy strip stuff. It's supposed to be non-toxic and everything, so that means it's probably going to take a while, but that's what I got. We're going to see what happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the body of one, at least for now. We're going to throw it in here. We're going to use an old brush, and we're going to put the stripper on it and see what happens. I don't know how this is going to come out. That was gloppy. Okay, so here we are. The red car has been in for about 20 hours. The blue car has been in a little over 12. The little bits that I dabbed on in the previous part just didn't seem to be doing it, so I just slathered the hell out of them and let them soak. And as you can see, I know it's non-toxic stuff, but still, be careful. It's coming off. So actually, as disappointed as I was in this material, this cleaner, this stuff here, for not working right away, it does work, and of course the slowness benefits the non-toxicity of it, so that's good. Can't really complain about that then. So it looks like it's coming off pretty good. Look at that. Oh man, we're styling. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean these off, take them, wash them. How you like that? The red color seems to stick a little bit more. But anyway, we're going to get these, we're going to wash them up, and then do some sanding and other stuff to try to get the rest of the paint off. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, we took our cars and we washed them, and everything came off pretty good. The next step is we're going to take this brass brush, and we're just going to start scraping and filing off all the paint. As you can see, a little effort, it comes right off. But we'll do as much as we can. We also have our scribe tools like this, so we'll be able to find areas like in between the doors, like that. Just scrape them clean. The cowling, we'll scrape it as best we can. But that's what we're going to do for the rest of the car for right now. It's going to take a little effort. The blue one, as you can see, that came out pretty clean, pretty quick. That's just most of it was just a wire brush. Now that we got these clean now, you can take a look at them and you can actually see the defects in the castings of these things. They're not always perfect. Some people, when they restore them, like to leave those defects in place because it makes them more authentic and original and stuff like that. I get that. Personally, myself, that's not really, I'm not that kind of collector with these things, so it doesn't bother me. So what I'm going to do is look for some defects. You can see some defects here along this back panel. There's a lip. There's a little bit of a flange mark here that's not on this side. Okay. This one, you can see, it's kind of gloppy and gloopy along the fender there. So we're going to try to take care of that. And again, there's some imperfection down here at the bottom of this panel. So we're going to try to fix this. And what I do is we got ourselves these files. Okay, you've all seen them, Harbor Freight, really cheap. Okay, find the one that you like to use, and then go to town. Now these things aren't that hard, so it's not that difficult. So you're just gonna, and you get the hang of it as you're doing it, but just kind of lightly file it till you get it to where you want it. Again, you don't want to do too much because you can't put it back. I'm gonna take a round file for that one. Yeah, it's just taking your time and doing what you feel is right. You don't even have to do this, but you know how it's going to come out. next thing is I started to clean these two chassis. Okay, you can see this is the one I cleaned up, and this is the one that's still oxidized that I didn't do anything to. And all I did with these is using this brush here, and then I used the wire wheel on my Dremel, okay, and I was able to clean that up. There are people that have some type of acid. I don't know what it is yet. I don't have that. But they just take these things and they dip them in the acid for a minute or two, or not even. I forget what it is, and they come out looking even better than this. It's really cool. Gets rid of all the oxidation and everything. Again, I'm not taking that to this level. I don't have that, so such is life. But I wanted you to see the difference. Just a little effort in elbow grease here, you can make a difference. And this only took a couple minutes. It wasn't like a lot of work. Okay. Okay, time to do some coloring. I'm going to be using Craft Smart paint acrylics. This doesn't change from when I do my models. I use a lot of Craft Smart. Well, maybe I'll have to in the future. I don't know. But right now, this is what we're going with. This is what I like to use. In this case, for my first car, it was springtime yellow, and so we're going to use this pale yellow and a little bit of white. We're going to mix it together. It gives us a very close match to springtime yellow, and we're going to paint that through our airbrush and see how we can do. Okay, so we sprayed it through, and actually I'm pretty impressed. It actually is, well, to my eye, I just own the car, so I can't be an exact expert on it, but I'll be damned if it doesn't look pretty much like the color that the car had. It should be a little more weathered, but that is the color. Okay, and then also we did the chassis. All right, and to do the chassis, just so you know, there's a lot. If you, I don't have it, but there's a lot of molded in the engine and a lot of uneven stuff here. So to get the masking material, the paper, the tape wouldn't do a good job getting up to the valance panel. So what I did is I just used Silly Putty, another modeling trick from Styrene Guys. Used this stuff, stuffed it in to the chassis where I wanted it. I was able to pull it back and then taped around that. And that gave me a good seal, and I was able to spray paint the valance panel here, the valance panel there. So that's good. And you may be wondering how come I only got half the car or a third of the car. That is because my car, when I got it, was all yellow. But I started prepping the body and getting the body ready to be painted, and from the front bumper all the way back to just past the doors was primer black. Took a lot of cans, and actually surprisingly didn't look horrible, but my rear quarters, because there was rust in them, they had to be replaced. I didn't waste my time and about 8-9 cans of spray paint or primer to prime it, so I left the back yellow. So that's what we're going for. So the front half of this is going to be black primer. Okay, that's why we did that. Okay, next we have the interior. I didn't show it, it just kind of got away from me. But basically, if you remember, this was a tannish type color interior. I just took it, shot it with some black spray paint. Then what I did is I went with my chrome pen. I did the spokes on the wheel. I did the top of the shifter, because the shifters were always chrome also. Okay, so you may be asking, what the heck are you doing here? I'm making a garage. Let me show you. Tape this down here. Okay, this is just a piece of cardboard. I'll focus out here. This is just a messed up piece of cardboard I used to paint on since I don't have a booth. Mix stuff on, and it's just a slop piece of cardboard. Now, as you remember, my car is going to be a two-tone car. Okay, again, remember, this was the 80s. Back then we had used cars, we had beat up cars. We didn't have brand new all one color cars in our, it just wasn't the way it was. The kids today just don't understand that. They all get brand new cars or expect brand new cars and perfectly working cars. It's just not the way it was back when I was a kid. But as I explained earlier, the front half of my car was primer, so it wasn't also a very exacting cutover. So I made this garage, just use some thick cardboard paper. This is the stuff I use when I do paper modeling. And my goal is I'm going to slide this into the garage to about the point where the fade should be. I'm going to put some tape down, tape it on it. But now I'm going to come by with my primer, because I'm only going to use primer, because that's what it was originally. And I'm going to spray the car, and being in here, the fade, the overspray, will go that way, and it won't be a precise precision line. That's my goal. So we're going to see what happens. Okay, so we take our car out of our paint booth, and here's where we sit. And I'll tell you what, it kind of it really brings back memories when I start seeing a car like this. My God, it's it is what it is. Wow, memory lane. Anyway, if anything, I like to be totally transparent in what I do and let you know my mistakes, so that you don't make the same mistakes and or know how to get around those mistakes. One of the things I did, or what I did is, as you saw before, is I made that garage, and then the goal was to just paint the car with black primer, and that would be it, because that's what the real car was. But when I was done, I realized the black was way too stark of a difference on here. I mean, it really was. It didn't look right. Okay, it didn't look like primer at all, and laziness set in, and I didn't feel like stripping the car and trying again. So I did a quick fix, and to be honest with you, I think it worked pretty good. Here's what I did. I found this tube of graphite sitting on my desk. This is for Pinewood Derby cars. My son, we just built a Pinewood Derby car, and it was sitting on a desk. And all I did is I took a little bit of this and I puffed it out. It's in a powder. Puffed it onto the car. I just rubbed it in with my finger until it gave me this grayish look. Because what I should have done is really used like a charcoal gray color to paint the car, not black. But anyway, using the the graphite, it gave me the look of the car as if it was primered. So I'm very pleased with that. Is it the way that I should have done it? Not really, but it worked. The other thing is when I was done putting it all over the car and working it in, and when it first started, it looked very metallic. I didn't want that, so I kept rubbing it in until it really gave me the grayish look. And then when my finger was dirty and covered, I just started wiping it on the yellow, and it aged that color too, so it wasn't so bright as it was before. So now it looks properly worn. It looks pretty good. That's pretty cool. I also did here, actually I should do this too, because shouldn't be that white. Let me show you what I did actually. So all I did was take a little bit of the graphite powder, and you put this on the axles of your Pinewood Derby car. But I just take a little bit, squeeze it, puff it on there, okay, and just rub it in. And I just kept working it until the glittery part of it was gone. And lo and behold, now I got a toned down and dirty looking underside of my hood. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty cool. Again, this isn't a technique I would do all the time. It just happens to be something I just chose now because it was on my bench, and lazy, because I'm a lazy person. But it got the effect I wanted, so now I'm very happy. Next thing is I'm going to cover this in matte color, matte clear. That'll really tone it down too, blend everything together, and I think we'll be good to go. On the chassis, so we got our chassis. I showed you how we use the silly putty on here and everything. So now we're going to unwrap this. Okay, for the overspray on the tires, like I said, I just took a little paint thinner on a cotton bud Q-tip. Okay, just wipe it and it goes away. Okay, I got a little overspray here, and the overspray, as much as I tried, I guess it was really because the tape didn't stick to silly putty. But I stand by the idea of the silly putty. I think the silly putty is a great idea. Alright, so next we're going to just do a little rusting on the car. I took my Dremel and a bit and I just chewed up around the wheel well a little bit. Not much. Okay, now I'm going to take the Tamiya weathering kits. I have a couple of these, they're pretty good. And I'm just going to put a little bit on a cotton bud here and just going to go around that edge and try to get that edge to look rusty. Same with this one here. Okay, just basically where the shine is. Okay, I'm using a cotton bud because it's a little bit firmer than the original applicator here. This one's so worn out, it doesn't really work very good. So I figured I'd do this. It's really not working much better, but the material is getting applied. Give it that look. Alright, so we got a little bit of a rust effect there. Okay, it's kind of getting washed out with the camera, but in real life you can see I think it looks pretty decent. It's not the greatest, but it works, especially in this scale. Actually, oops. Here. Cool beans. Alright, I think we're really just about ready for assembly. Okay guys, so here we are with the final product. I skipped ahead to this. I didn't show the assembly because, you know, working on 30 minutes of a video here for our Matchbox car. So I just need to cut to a chase and get it over with. But we could show that work in another video at some other time. But anyway, this is my first Matchbox of my first car, which was called Sherman. The name came from the girl that I bought it from because she called it Sherman, as in tank. But anyway, the name stuck, what can I say? But anyway, this is what it looked like all through, you know, my high school years before I wrecked it. Cool car. Some of the additional work that I did other than the painting, and you saw all that stuff, is I made some modifications to the back wheels. I ended up removing the axles and actually laid some epoxy in the trench where it sat, in order to raise the wheels up a little bit. This gave it a little bit, as you can see now, the butt of the car sticks down, the front end is at the normal ride height. This nose high look was indicative of the 6 cylinders of the time, especially the older ones as the leaves started to wear out and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my car. I think it's pretty cool. I hope to do this in styrene one day. It's one of my plans, but this kind of jumped to the front. Oh, another thing, we did the bumpers and detailed those with the chrome Molotov paint pens. Didn't have to do anything to the wheels. The wheels were in really good shape. Just, you know, clean them up a little bit and they were good to go. The taillights, they were too snarfed. The castings just way too snarfed for me to put any red in there to recreate the lenses. But you know, that's just the way it is. I can't recast it. So but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun for me, something new and exciting. I hope you found it entertaining. Maybe something that later on you guys might be willing to try something of your own. I can't believe the following that these cars have. It's actually incredible. So but that's it. So guys, till next time, be strong.